Hello guys, Omni here. Earlier today we got our first official trailer for Spider-Man Far From Home. I'm a little late getting to it. I just got off of work, so we're going to go ahead and jump right into this here in just a second. This is our first full look, and this is also our first MCU film after Endgame. So I'm really curious to see what direction this is going to go. I know there's been a lot of speculation on whether or not this takes place before Infinity War or after Endgame. So I'm really curious to which that's going to be. I'm still on board that this is probably going to be post, even though I know they've tried to like restrict as much as they could from kind of like teasing that in the teaser trailer that came out a few months back. But let's just go ahead and jump right into the trailer and see what we have.
The Spider-Man Far From Home trailer is about to play, but if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame yet...
Okay, well, there it is. There it is, right there.
Spoilers about to come up. But if you have seen Avengers Endgame, enjoy the trailer.
Thank you, Tom.
Everywhere I go, I see his face.
Oh.
I just really miss him.
He's wearing the suit still, too.
I don't think Tony would have done what he did if he didn't know that you were going to be here after he was gone.
Dude.
You gonna be the next Iron Man now?
Well, no, I don't have time. I'm too busy doing your jobs.
Oh, I'm kidding. Look,
Get wrecked.
Because I am going on vacation.
Heads up, Nick Fury's calling you.
I don't really want to talk to Nick
Answer
Fury.
the phone.
Why?
Because if you don't talk to him, then I have to talk to him. I don't want to talk to him. You sent Nick Fury to voicemail?
I gotta go. Do not ditch Nick Fury. What up, dorks?
What's up? We're just talking about the trip.
I'm here in St. Marco Polo. Oh,
I think MJ really likes me.
that reminds me when I first fell in love.
Okay, we've seen this
You're
bit.
a very difficult person to contact, Spider-Man. This is Mr. Beck.
We could have used someone like you on my world.
Your world?
Beck is from
What?
just not ours. The snap tore a hole in our dimension.
Wait, what?
There's a multiverse?
We have a job to do, and you're coming with us.
There's gotta be someone else you can use. What about Thor?
Off-world.
Captain Marvel?
Unavailable.
But I'm just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Bitch, please, you've been to space.
What do you want, Peter? I want to go back on my trip with the girl who I really like and tell her how I feel. MJ, I...
I'm Spider-Man.
No, of course I'm not.
I
What?
mean, it's kind of obvious.
You're right.
Okay.
I may not be ready, but this is my responsibility.
Saving the world requires sacrifice. Sometimes people die.
Huh.
I just always feel like I'm putting my friends in danger. The world needs the next Iron Man.
You're going to step up or not?
Dude.
I gotta get you guys out of here. Get on the jet. Who are you? I work with Spider-Man.
You work for Spider-Man?
I work with Spider-Man, not for Spider-Man. New plan.
Oh, okay. Huh. You know, I'm just going to come out and say, like, you know, I was really feeling like after Endgame that, you know, my interest in really any of the following MCU films, short of Guardians of the Galaxy, my interest was going to diminish. Because I feel like everything I was built up to got paid off in Endgame. That, you know, 11 years of this legacy and this this arcing story that is expanded across 22 episodes. Well, I mean, technically 22 different movies to a conclusion. I really kind of felt like I was ready to, you know, just kind of sit back and take a break, or just really not kind of jump right into the hype for whatever the next film is, because I feel like the world is concluded. Of course, we know the world and the characters live on, the ones that move on from Endgame. So it's this, even this, Spider-Man is my favorite Marvel character. It's the one I relate to the most. It's the one I grew up with. And, you know, even so, after all of the things that we've seen and we've gone through and everything with Endgame and the first teaser trailer for this, yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm going to watch this, but I wasn't like, I'm going to day one this. It's not like I felt like there was a need to see it because there's not really a build up anymore. Because everything before this was building up to Endgame. But this trailer, this one definitely sold me on this movie. Really kind of like showing us the state of mind that the world is in, the state of some of our heroes even, and with Peter, you know, losing his mentor and his father figure, his successor to Ben. So that's really interesting, and it really got me. I was just like, you got to step up, and I was really thrown for a loop. I know, like in the comics, at various points, Mysterio has played up to be the hero. He's a little bit of an anti-hero in some cases, but the kind of thing that I was hearing and things I've seen based on what I've read in the comics, what I know about him in the comics as well, is he puts on a show, and that a lot of the speculation is that he's kind of he could still be, you know, he could either be lying about being from a different dimension, a different reality of Earth, one of the alternate Earths, or he's not the Mysterio he's presenting in our world. Maybe in his Earth, he is the villain, and he's using this opportunity to be the hero in another Earth. Because that's the one thing about Mysterio, is he always wanted to be viewed as the hero. But, you know, life just kind of never led him down that path, and he would kind of go about it in the wrong ways. In some ways, he would orchestrate things so that he would come out looking like the hero, but until Spider-Man, you know, outs him. There's various takes. There's been some where he's just, some if not most, where he's just straight a villain. So I'm really curious to see if he's actually going to be an anti-hero in this, or if they're going to play the spin that he is actually orchestrating these events that are happening on Earth 616, which is our MCU timeline. Which is interesting. And I you know, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse opened up the Spider-Verse, and, you know, there was a lot of speculation that Endgame, them meddling with time, they're saying it was the snap that caused this ripple between the dimensions and realities. But I kind of figured that the meddling with the timeline was definitely something that created all these branched Earths and could have potentially been the cause for the multiverse being birthed in the MCU. So I'm really curious what this opens up and what this can mean. We already know that Miles Morales exists in this universe. He's referenced and mentioned in the first Spider-Man for Homecoming. So really curious to see how all that's going to pan out, especially what the multiverse can mean for this going forward. It really piques my interest. It's something that DC is starting to get into. And the multiverse is really something that's become a core concept of DC's universe, in the comics at least. And if Marvel follows up Endgame and just knocks this multiverse out of the park, even before, you know, the Joker movie and the Elseworld stories, the Black Label DC stuff comes out, Marvel could already jump in the game and get ahead of DC and what they're trying to do next again, and just keep them down, which is not something I want to see, but it is something that is really surprising to see the MCU not, because we all thought, and they still will, I know we probably won't see Fantastic Four and stuff like that for a little while, since the acquisition has just gone through, and Feige said at least that for the X-Men that we won't see them until maybe Phase 5, but our initial speculations was for the MCU to go galactic, to go celestial, especially with them releasing the Eternals, so in their upcoming lineup. So it's really interesting that not only are they going galactic, they've expanding with the Guardians of the Galaxy, expanding with Captain Marvel, expanding with the things that they've done in space up to this point with Endgame, and all the other things they've set up to and acquired from Fox to expand their reach in the universe of the MCU to not only be breaking that barrier into alternate realities. We already know one of the Disney Plus lineup shows is the Marvel MCU What If series, which will be a bunch of different unconnected series of stories that are based on what if scenarios within the Marvel universe that they've created. So like variations on characters. What if Tony Stark never became Iron Man? What if Bruce Banner wasn't the one that got irradiated by the gamma experiment? Like stuff like that could play out, and those could be different versions of the Earth. That story could even be existing in the multiverse rather than just being stories for fun. This is an expansion for Marvel that really kind of piques my interest in a way that I didn't really expect it. It makes me happy, at least, that the movie coming out of here that's really going to carry us into that next phase and really capstone the phase 3, the Infinity Sagas, because they said this Spider-Man Far From Home is still in phase 3. So this is really kind of like our epilogue to Endgame, more so than what we got at the end of that, which I'm really interested to see how they pull that off, by also kind of catapulting us into phase 4. But what I was trying to get to before rambling on around about that is, like, I'm glad that it's Spider-Man, because for me, at least, that might be different to a lot of other people for sure. But for me, I have a personal interest in Spider-Man, the character of Peter Parker, that world, those characters, those villains, those the message and the meaning behind Spider-Man. That for me personally, to not have been that interested after Endgame, I think it gets a lot of a benefit for me, because that's my favorite Marvel character that's going to cap this off. And he really is the person that Tony was mentoring. He is the person that Tony was really putting all of his faith in to be a better version of himself. And, you know, I'm really curious now to see where that goes and how this expands. And I really like the chemistry between Jake Gyllenhaal and Tom Holland. And I've seen a lot of their interviews here about this movie when they're going on their press tours and stuff like that for this film. And it really carries over, and I can't wait to see how that works into the film as well. And I really want to know if Mysterio is going to end up being a villain, like through and through, or if he's going to be riding this gray area, or if he just plays the hero in this, which would be interesting in and of itself. And I really hope that he's telling the truth, and this multiverse thing is not just some BS he's feeding Fury, because that could open a whole new world for the MCU beyond just going farther and farther into the stars. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see more of this now. And, you know, I'm hyped for this movie more so than I was after the teaser trailer. I'm ready. I'm ready to go into this. I'm still not convinced about how much, or, well, not how much. I'm not sure where the MCU is going to go from here as a whole. If the snapping has opened up this door in realities, is that also going to, could effects of that, a lot of people speculated that the energy put off by the gauntlet, not only causing the shifting continents or the tidal waves that are, or the earthquakes that are mentioned in the bottom of the ocean in Endgame, which people were thinking that maybe that's signaling Namor being involved and brought into the MCU. Maybe that's something that's kind of a little bit of a tease that he might be introduced, which is the predecessor of Aquaman, because chronologically he came first, but they're essentially kind of the same character, except he's more of an anti-hero. He originated as a villain who later turned around to kind of have this heroic arc. But, you know, could it also have changed this, the genetics and the people that were brought back from the snap, causing the mutant gene, which would be an interesting way to introduce mutants into the universe. There's a lot of possibilities on the expansion of this that goes beyond the core characters that we followed originally. And, you know, I don't know why, but like, I just didn't know, I guess really after Endgame and like having that kind of like bookend to 11 years of this history of this universe, that I was like, how are they going to keep me interested? Really? You know, and they're pulling out the stops, and there's just a lot of things coming out here that is really kind of really sparking an interest for me in what's going to come next, and kind of fun to speculate how the effects of Endgame are going to carry off into the future for this franchise. So they got me. They got me. So we'll see how this plays out in July 2nd when this comes out, because I'll be checking it out that day and we'll be watching it. I'll be reviewing it. So I'll catch you guys then. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and pass this off to you now. I've been talking about this long enough already. Let me know what you think about the trailer. Let me know your speculations and theories about the future of the MCU down in the comments. I would love to have a conversation with you guys about what you think might be going on. And that's it for now. If you want to check out my other reactions, I'll link those, and feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I really would love to have the support on the channel, grow this community, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care.